Okay, this is a requested video, a Fredrick's cross that someone can put a stone in. So whilst my sausage roll is warming up on the forge, I'm going to have a go. I'm going to start off with 4 inches of 5/8 square. I think 5/8 is going to be big enough because I haven't got a stone or gem or whatever it is that this person wants to put in. I'm going to use a marble. So I think 5/8 square is going to be about the right sort of size. Now I'm just going to mark on 2 sides right up the middle. This one quite long because that's going to be the longest cut. Then turn it 90 degrees and at the other end mark the middle again. Just so we can see it. Right, so the long cut I'm going to make is going to be 3 inches long. I'm just going to mark that. Yes, come on Gary, it's 3 inches. That's it, clever boy. Then the other end, oh, let's just mark across there. And actually we'll mark down the middle I think because you can't actually see that very well. That scribe mark. So that's the first cut. And we turn it 90 degrees and the other end I'm going to mark at 1 3/8 inches. There we go, 1 3/8 inches. I don't know why I'm being quite so dim today, but I can't seem to get my measurements right, but again we'll mark up the middle. Now this I haven't done before as my usual projects, so I'm guessing the measurements. So there you go. And now on the overlap, that is where the hole will come, where we can put the marble. So on one side of the long end I'm going to cut off, or mark to cut off, about 1.5 inches. Now I don't normally do this when I make a Fredrick's cross, but I saw it on another video and I thought it was actually quite a good idea, so we cut that bit out before you start. I normally just do it and then cut it off afterwards, but before you start it's actually quite a good idea. So get it on the old bandsaw. You can do it on anything really. You can do it bandsaw, hacksaw, cutting disc, whatever you like. But I've got my bandsaw handy, so I thought we'd give it a go. I'm going to speed this up because my blade's a little bit on the blunt side. That's why I'm putting a bit of jollop on there. It's amazing how much muck comes off. And you push stick. Now we're getting close to the end. Have that bit off of there. And that's it. That's what we've got to play with. I found myself a pair of tongs that fit in both directions, but as you can see I'm not using them because I decided that I wanted to hold the thin bit. So just going to open that one up, keep it level. Now I haven't done one of these for a very long time, so as you'll see I'm going to struggle a little bit, but that's basically the first operation. Now back to the tongs I was going to use, and we're going to open up the next bit on there. Now this is where it all goes a bit peak tong. Because I cut that piece out first, my hardy cutter won't go up the gap, so I'm struggling. So I really need to get the chisel in there, or something to open it up, give it a start, because all I've achieved by hitting it on there on the hardy tool is actually closing it up. Oh bugger! Such a fiddle arse. Right, I've opened it up. So I've started it. So let's get it open proper. Now that's the way to go, is put the chisel in. So if I hadn't cut that piece off, it would have gone on there quite nicely, but there you go. We live and learn. But it does give a good result if you do cut that piece off first. As you can see, we're almost finished already. I haven't got to worry about cutting anything off. So that's about it. I'm just going to straighten it up, get it to change my hammer, get it all to try and line up. So that someone asked on one of my other videos if I could do one of these to put a stone in. I'm assuming they mean like a gemstone rather than a pebble stone. So as I haven't got anything like that kicking about, I'm going to use this marble, which I think might look quite nice. There you go. There's not a lot to do to these once they're, if you make them out of square and you've got your cuts pretty accurate. Doesn't need an awful lot of fiddling about with, although I seem to be taking an awful lot of fiddling. So that's just about it. So because that hole's now square, I'm going to make it round so I can put my marble in. So I'm going to find myself a punch that's roughly the size of a marble. That's my stud punch that I use for putting studs in my horseshoes. It might be almost there, but not quite, so I'm just going to ease it open with this bigger one, which actually is a little bit too big. But we'll see. It doesn't look very round yet, so let's find a marble. Yeah, you see that needs to be quite a bit bigger. So I'm going to use this one, which is a little bit less fat. That looks a bit better. There you go, drop straight through. So that's about right. I'm going to leave it at that now. I'm not going to touch it anymore. Because what I'm going to do is try and give it some texture. I'm just going to use my ball pen and texturise one side of it, and then we can get the marble to fit properly once all that's done. There's no point fitting it and then mucking about with it because it's all going to change shape, but we're somewhere close. So just running a ball pen all the way over it, just random. Just makes it look a little bit nicer. So I think that'll just about do it. Once we've got that done, and then I'm going to let it cool, clean it up, and then we'll try and get the marble to fit. So that's about it for now. So I've given it a wire brush, and I found a nicer marble. This is a nice dark blue one, which when the light comes through it looks really nice. Now all these marbles are slightly different, so you really need to tailor each one to the cross or whatever it is you're putting a marble in. So that's not quite going through, and they're not quite round, so sometimes you can move them about and it will suddenly drop through. See, this one is supposed to be the same size, but they're nowhere near, and then that one drops straight through. So that's why you need to just that last bit is do a bit of hand finishing to get it to fit nicely. And I think this one's going to look quite nice in there. I'm going to just take the edges out so that it is a sort of a push fit, nice tight push fit. And before we start, I'm just trying to get it in the light so I can see exactly where it's touching and where it's not. I'm just going to put a mark with my pencil, and that's where I'm going to do my filing to start with. It's about there it's touching. And I think the same on the opposite side. Right, so that's the two places I'm going to start on, where those chalk marks are. I'm just going to use this little like chainsaw file, quite nice and fine, just take a little bit out, just a tiny little bit at a time. Do the same on the top, on the other side. Keep trying it. Wants a little bit more. And that's about it, I think. That's quite a nice fit. That, give it a good push. Yeah, that's in. And it's not quite halfway. So it's almost there, but I don't want too much sticking out the back. But that'll do. So once I get back, I'll put a couple of dollops of super glue on the back just to make sure it stays there. I think that'll look quite nice. When the light comes through this marble from the back, it really looks nice. A nice deep blue colour. So I'm just going to put a hole in the top there, so I can put either a lanyard through it or a necklace, or you can hang it on a wall or whatever you want to do with it. So I'm just putting about, I don't know, about 5mm 3/16 type hole through. These are one of the easiest things to make, these Fredrick's crosses, and adding this sort of marble just was a really good idea of whoever it was. I can't remember whoever it was that asked about making one with to put a stone in or something in, but it's a really quite a good idea. So there we go, looks quite nice. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. My sausage roll was lush.